Someone just mentioned that, like, hey, why did they call him that? And he was like, why did they call Deshaun the bishop? Well, like, in the Baptist, black church. I was like, oh, okay, why did they call Mike the token? Oh, because he's the white guy. And he was like, he's all, everything you thought of, that's why. You're right in your thinking. It was all racial.
Podcast. It's your boy Anthony Conservative Chicano. I got my guys back. Thanksgiving week. How we doing? Did we put on weight? Are we holding steady? Did you get that mac and cheese?
I got mac and cheese. Yep, definitely put on some weight.
Okay, you got that mac and cheese. Did you have ham or turkey or both?
I had a little bit of both.
Okay, but it was the mac and cheese.
It was mac and cheese
What's
all day.
What's going on in the big Houston area? What's going on in H-Town over there? We living large? We doing well?
They say I used to think that they would say everything's bigger in Texas, and that was just like a phrase.
No, that's not a phrase. That's real.
No, like everything that they do in Texas is bigger. Like I went to this Zoo Lights, blew everything out of the water. I went to some other little Christmas thing. It's like they do it big.
They do it big.
They do it big, and they do it well.
Okay. Shout out to you're in Houston, right?
I was in Houston, yeah.
Shout out to H-Town.
Yes.
Famous rapper at H-Town. Is Paul Wall from Houston? Bun B? Are they from there?
But I don't know if they're from Houston.
Big X the Plug, isn't he from Houston?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought some.
I know they're all from Texas. I don't think Bun B. I don't think UGK. I don't think they're from Houston.
Okay.
But not that I ever will listen to that.
Okay, I was curious. What about you? Did you hold it down? Did you put on some weight for Thanksgiving? What'd you have? Did you have ham, turkey?
Ham and turkey.
No prime rib? No steak?
Yeah, prime rib?
No.
No ribs?
No ribs.
Oh, prime rib was that.
What kind? Okay, here's the question: regular ham, or you like that honey baked ham stuff?
I like the honey.
Yeah.
See, I don't.
No?
I don't. Yeah, because I like to take my ham the next day, throw in some eggs. I can't do honey eggs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Can't
do it. So, what about the turkey? How'd you have your turkey? Baked, deep fried? What'd you have?
Smoked.
So, did you like it smoked?
It was actually really good.
Did you like it smoked? What about you?
Just baked.
Okay.
I literally only had 2 pieces of turkey.
So normally I'm an all dark meat person. Just throwing that out there. This year I was gonna deep fry. I was set up to deep fry. Went into Lowe's. I saw an air fryer. Now I'm a big air fry person. I like my whole chicken's air fry. I just like air fried. Period. My nuggets, you name it. I said nobody in the house really likes turkey anyway. What the heck? Let's try it. Grabbed a little 10, 12 pound turkey. It was a small turkey. It could fit up to a 20. I didn't even brine it. I didn't do anything. I made a rub the morning of. I put the rub on, let it out for an hour. That's it. Threw it in the air fryer. Best turkey I've ever had. Best turkey I ever had. Weirdest looking thing cooking outside on an air fryer because there's no lid, there's no nothing. Best turkey. Skin was crunchy. The white meat was the best meat on the turkey. I never thought I'd say that. Matter of fact, I don't really do leftovers. Had some of the turkey breast the next day. It was even better the next day than it was the first day. I told my wife, the air fryer, you could put pork shoulder, pork butt, you could put a whole chicken, 2 whole chickens at the same time. This thing is incredible. So it even said it has a prime rib recipe. Guess what I'm doing for Christmas? I'm gonna air fry my prime rib. This thing was amazing. Absolutely incredible. Easiest thing to operate. Hardest thing to put together, easiest thing to operate. The wife and I almost got into it. We were putting it together. Y'all put stuff together with your wives?
No. She does it.
Oh, she does. Okay. What happens when y'all? What happens? That's a marriage test.
No, she's just really good at it, and I hate putting stuff together.
What about you?
She's like Bob Vila. I just
you
help
put stuff
her.
together or what?
I just put stuff together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's the man in the house.
Okay. You just throwing it out there? No shame.
I put up my Christmas lights yesterday.
Hey, no shame, huh?
And I was
just throwing it out there.
Hey, you got to know your role.
We got to know the role.
Yeah, I know my role. I'm just not good at that.
I'm just not good. Hey, it's funny because you're a sharp guy. Like you read instructions.
I get frustrated. I'm like, I don't like to have to go through all the different things. I don't like doing it.
Okay, so we put together the air fryer, and I know it's heating up when Mandy says that music's too loud. That is the ultimate cue right there. I got to turn off the music. I got to pay attention. Like, once she tells me my music's too loud, I know it's on. I better.
I'm focusing.
We got focus. We got to hone in. Yeah, I tell people all the time, you want to test your marriage, put some furniture together. You want to test your marriage? Put something together, and we're gonna test that marriage real quick.
Yeah, the first time that you get like a baby's crib,
Yeah, put it together.
and you want to do it all together because it's our first. Try to put it together, things falling down, hitting you in the head.
This thing don't fit.
No.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Okay. Obviously, we turned that into a marriage segment right there, huh? That's for somebody out there. But no, I had a good Thanksgiving. Was very surprised. Went ahead and cooked some ribeyes on Thanksgiving as well. So un-Thanksgiving like right there, but it was good. Now Thanksgiving's your favorite. Tell everybody why Thanksgiving's your favorite.
Because there's usually no pressure in Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Everybody just hangs out, eats. Now, I have been told that there is a lot of pressure if you're doing the cooking. But I guess for me, there's no pressure. Like I usually just.
I was gonna say. So what you're saying is you didn't do any of the cooking.
Not this year. When we host, I'll do a lot of the cooking. But yeah, you just hang out with your friends. You watch football. So that one and the 4th of July, two favorite holidays.
I do like me a good 4th of July. I like it only because I like to blow stuff up. I don't really cooking's cooking, no big deal. But I just like the afterwards. I'm a sucker for a good fireworks show. That's all.
I will say that as my kids have gotten older, I've liked Christmas a lot more.
Oh, okay.
So I got the itch right now. Like
Okay.
I put my lights up. I got my little inflatable Santa that's hanging off my roof.
I love it. I've always loved Christmas. Has always been my favorite. This is the start of Advent. Today's the first day, November 1st, start of Advent. Luke chapter 1, if anybody wants to follow along. So I was thinking about something back in the day. Now this is when you guys were young pups. Everybody was laughing at me. My new term, calling them youngins, because if they're 25 and younger, because I was giving those examples yesterday. But you guys are young pups. You guys are still pups. I'm the old man here. Back in the day, you guys remember Black Fridays in the sense of well, let me finish now. Let me finish.
Camp out all night.
Yes, that's what I was going to talk about. Like,
Yes.
they would drop the N64 or whatever, and everybody would have to wait 3 days. And I don't know if you guys remember this or everyone shopping, but the traffic used to be real bad, getting in and out of parking lots.
Yeah.
Well, I found this guy. He's a worship leader, and he made a remake of one of our favorite songs. And I just thought this would be appropriate for everybody who's waiting in line or getting cut off in traffic. I just thought we'd start off with a little bit of humor. Watch this.
Try Jesus, don't try me, 'cause I throw hands. Oh, try Jesus, oh, don't try me, I throw hands. I ain't got no problem laying these hands.
Laying these hands.
What'd you think? That's what I don't know if I should admit this, but that's like one of my favorite songs. Is that not supposed to be one of my favorite songs?
With Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a good singer too.
That was good, huh?
Yes,
He did
yeah,
good.
he did good.
He made it sound so spiritual.
Yeah.
Made it sound so spiritual.
He would gently.
He would gently lay hands. Okay, real talk. Do you get frustrated when you drive?
Yes.
Okay. What's the most frustrating part when you drive? Like, give me a scenario. Someone cuts you off. What do they do?
Yeah, or like somebody's not paying attention. Like you're sitting behind somebody in a light, and they're just not. They're not going. The most frustrating thing is like when people almost cause an accident when my kids are in the car.
Okay.
And it's just because you're stupid, like those things. It's like, man, did you what are you doing? Why would you do that?
What about you? What's the thing that irks you when you drive?
I'm patient. And so I go in, no, I'm a patient driver. So I'm like, whatever. And as people become stupid, I'm like, they're just special. They get special. they get special treatment. They can park there in the red zone because they get special treatment. God has something special for them, so they get to do that. Literally, what I tell myself, like, no, they get to do that.
I just get frustrated when you almost like hurt my kids.
Okay. So the thing that gets me, there's a couple, but these two really get me. Number one is if you cut in front of me to slow all the way down.
Oh yeah,
that gets me. You did all you could. You did all you could to get ahead of me, and then you're gonna go cut in front of me, and we're gonna bring this to 50. What can't you?
Do you use cruise control on the freeway?
I do every single time.
But why can't you keep that same energy? That's all I'm asking.
Because I don't think people use cruise control.
Okay.
No,
They do this. They do this.
Yeah, people aren't focused. Like they'll speed up and they'll slow down, and I'm right back next to you. But they're like, oh man, I'm going 55, and they'll speed back up
Okay,
again.
All you
here's
got to
the
do is
second thing.
press the button.
Here's the second thing. You ever just be caught up in traffic and you wonder like, why are we caught up in traffic? Like, is there an accident? And really somebody just pulled over to the shoulder with their flashers on.
Yep.
And everybody's just stopping. That don't frustrate you?
Yeah, I mean
That's a whole lot of special people.
No, that sucks. That happened to me yesterday.
That happened to us on Friday coming back home.
I was like, man, there's a lot of traffic right now, and someone put on the side of the road.
just
that
put
was
some
it.
flashers on.
It just opened up.
And everybody's just looking.
Yeah.
It's like, we didn't need to do all that.
Mm.
That happened to us on Friday coming home. He's coming home from the Turlock area, and we got right there past Chowchilla, and everybody coming to a screeching halt. I'm like, oh, man, there's got to be a bad accident. Man, we get to it. One person pulled over the side of the road with flashers on looking for a spare tire. I'm like, we did all that for that. That just frustrated. And so that song immediately came to mind, and I was like, try Jesus. Oh, I was thinking of that song right there. Okay, so speaking of songs, I got to throw this out there, but our boy Forrest Frank, the Saint, can we give him a nickname? I need to see if Forrest Frank will come on my podcast. I'll call him the Saint. You think that sounds about right, huh? Forrest Frank the Saint.
I
Why you
definitely
laughing?
think he won't take that invitation if you call him the
Was too
Saint.
spicy?
I don't think he's gonna go for the Saint.
I think he will. It's all in good humor.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he'd have that type of humor. I feel like Forrest, his humor and our humor is probably a little bit different.
So you think just by us calling you the token and him the bishop and him the saint, he's just gonna say no?
He's like, I'm not getting on a podcast where they're calling a white guy a token. So,
And a black guy the bishop.
and a black guy the
So
bishop.
someone just mentioned that, like, hey, why did they call him that? And he was like, why did they call Deshaun the bishop? I was like, well, in the Baptist, black church. I was like, oh, okay, why did they call Mike the token? Oh, because he's the white guy. And he was like, he's all, everything you thought of, that's why. You're right in your thinking. It was all racial.
I was thinking, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
You were right.
I thought there'd be more to it.
No, there's really not.
Yeah.
story.
I thought there, other people called him that. No, nobody has ever called him.
I don't know where to go with that. Back to Forrest Frank. He's a saint. That's what he's
We
got a
all
nickname.
think highly of Forrest.
Bro, I feel like you guys have hung around Mexicans long enough. We always give people nicknames. It's just what we do.
Yeah, but he hasn't.
Where's he from? South Carolina?
Oh, somewhere.
There's no,
Tennessee-ish.
actually, there's really no Mexicans. You're right. Okay, but my point is, Forrest Frank, aka the Saint. I'm gonna just keep that going. He made a post. I wasn't aware of this. Okay, I don't know. Do you guys listen to a lot of Christian music?
No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, someone just asked me that, and I was like, I listen to music.
I'll listen like the same certain songs. Like
I don't listen to music in general. So.
Okay, so he made a post about the #1 Christian song. The only problem is it's all AI generated. There's no real. Okay, watch this clip right here. Watch this.
Number 1 album right now for Christian music on iTunes, and the number 2 top singles over Elevation, Brandon Lake, whoever, is AI. And I hate to even bring attention to this, but I want to just let you guys know this is out there. And I think it's important that we just pause a little bit and kind of ask the questions of like, is it something that we want? At minimum, AI does not have the Holy Spirit inside of it. So I think that's really weird to be opening up your spirit to something that has no spirit. So what are we doing about this? Are we rejecting this? Are we championing this? I personally will not be listening to this. I already don't listen to secular music, and I'm sure not going to be listening to AI Christian music. God bless you guys, and yeah, just want to bring that to your attention.
So what do you think about that? We talked about we knew this was going to happen. We talked about it. We literally talked about it. We knew this was going to happen, but yet it shot right up. The guy by the name Solomon Ray, totally fake, totally AI.
Yeah.
Should they be allowed, ethically, should they be allowing this on the Christian music billboard? Should they be playing this? Ethics-wise,
What's unethical about it?
It's not a real person.
But like using a synth on your voice.
He's still a real person. Like
Right.
when you go to the concert, the real person, T.I., T-Pain, whoever, they're going to be there.
What about like having this as its own category?
I'm fine. I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm good with that. Own category. Why not? Because you still gotta prompt it. You still gotta do something. Yeah.
Because there's got to be a little bit of talent driven behind it, right? For the whoever's putting it together, or no?
I'm not sure. The part that I do agree with the saint himself, Forrest Frank. I agree that there's no Holy Spirit. That's we just gotta. Hopefully, we all agree on that. But I agree with him.
So we had talked about the difference between like Christian music and worship music, right?
Right.
I'm
fine with
But
it
if
being
they
Christian
had,
music.
yeah, like if it had like a subcategory.
Absolutely, I have no problem with it.
No, you don't have to have any. You don't have to do anything. You have to make it completely yourself. You can have the AI make it completely.
So like you don't have to have any skill.
We can put in AI right now, make me a Christian song like Forrest Frank. Write everything.
Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it real time. Let's mess around with this. Go to. Do you use Grok? Tell everybody what you use. This chat. Is this Grok? Is it okay? So your chat. What version? Is it the latest version or is it
5.1?
Okay.
I don't know.
Man, I'm outdated. I'm still on 4.0. I think. Okay.
I don't even know how you're doing that. Is that an app?
It is an app.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, most people, if you're not using AI, you're missing out on some of the what benefits. But I got a clip that I'm going to show you in just a second. But we're going to do this in real time. Matter of fact, go ahead. Is it thinking right now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is crazy. Mike, just so everybody hears me. I do agree with you. There could be a subcategory. I just think we got to be real careful calling it worship music when we could call it Christian music, Christian entertainment.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with that. We're getting to the place where AI is just going to make movies on its own. I've got no problem with that, or animes on their own. I'm just saying we got to be real careful what we label it. What we label it. That would be my only concern. What we got so far?
Sorry, it's asking me a bunch of questions now.
Oh, go ahead. Just let our audience know what it's doing. Yeah.
Okay, it's writing it now. Look.
What was the questions it asked you though?
Oh, it just says, do you want it in the style of Forrest Frank? And I just told you, yeah, give me the style of Forrest
Oh my
Frank.
gosh, it asked you if you want. Okay, read it. What's it got so far?
It gives you a verse 1, a pre-chorus, a chorus, verse 2, a bridge.
Read the verse 1. What's verse 1?
Verse 1, sunlight waking up in the trees. I feel your presence over me. Every color whispers that you're near. Every moment you make it clear. You're the calm in all my chaos, the peace inside my chest. Even when I lose my way, Lord, you lead me back to rest.
Oh, bars. Okay, what's the chorus right there?
You're closer than the breeze on my skin. You're the love that I'm living in. No matter where I run, where I've been, you pull me back again, back again.
Oh.
Jesus, you are home to my heart, where my joy and my healing start. You're closer than the breeze on my skin. Forever I'm found in you.
That's a banger right there. That's good. So can I just
you can have it write melodies for you. So ask, so you want music behind it. So it'll write even the music and stuff for you for the song.
So I want to say something.
Keep going, man. We're gonna make some money.
Okay, that's where I was going. I want to say something.
We'll get Ethan. He'll be our singer.
There we go.
We just need your face. You don't even sing. We just need the face. we just need we need your hair and the pretty eyes. That's it.
Okay, so here's I'm not saying this to be controversial. I'm not saying it to put anybody on blast. But do you really think there's not Christian artists are already out there doing that? Are we that naive? I'm telling you right now, it's already been happening. And I'm not saying that to throw shade. And I know the creatives, they're going to argue with me. But I know you're getting stuck, and I know you're putting it in there. I know you are. It's just so easy, so convenient. It's like, pastors, don't play me. I know you are. I think we got to be real careful. We got to be real careful. You know what I'm saying? That we're not leaning on the AI a little too much. What starts out as it helped me when I had a little mental block, it turned into I didn't have no time this week, so it just wrote me the sermon. Same thing with the artist. I understand we all get a little writer's block. You can do a little something, spice it up. Okay, I'm good. But then it turns into it just wrote this whole song, and I just threw a beat to it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. And for music, I think it's really easy. Maybe the way I preach. I can't imagine how you can have it write a sermon for you and completely just do that. But it could be just the way I think and the way I put a sermon together. But for a song, man, it seems like it's super easy to throw that in there. And because to me, a lot of times what really matters is the music. and like the beat, and that's the part that really like is, at least I see, like it's important more than even the lyrics.
What about you? Did you see where I was going with that?
Yeah, I mean, because I think there's this pressure to perform, and not saying that preaching's performing, but you're giving of yourself to other people with a timeline that's usually assessed to it, right? So like I got Sunday that's coming, or maybe even for certain artists, like you're trying to make sure that you have music that's done and produced by a certain time.
Correct.
And so I could see how that pressure would get you to be like, okay, well, maybe I'll just get a verse.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, and then it's just that slippery slope. I could see how that could definitely be enticing in a negative way.
I would say this also. I think we're all on the same page. I would say this. We just got to be careful, because there's something to be said about music or sermon writing or books that are birthed from real life experiences of moments in our lives where people are able to, here's the key word, relate to it. I think of some of the great songs. I think of Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton, birthed out of the loss of his own son. I think of Purple Rain, birthed out of a moment where Prince, the story is Prince was riding on an elevator. He saw the clouds that was purple. In Minnesota, after a big thunderstorm, it has shades of purple in it. And he literally wrote Purple Rain. So I'm just saying there's some of these classic songs that were written like, if you're an 80s rock, Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me was literally written in 5 minutes. It was written at a diner. That's the story that was told. I don't know if all these are real or not. I know the Tears in Heaven is. But you see where I'm going with this. Some of these songs were birthed out of real experiences. As a matter of fact, we were listening to some old Motown. Thanksgiving night, we had everybody over like usual. We were just having a good time. And Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, came on. And Vince had mentioned to me, shout out Vince, he mentioned to me, hey, I think this was birthed out of his protest of the Vietnam War and some of the civil rights. And sure enough, we looked it up, it was. He wrote it with another guy. They were, literally writing the song about this stuff. And I thought, man, there's something to be said about that. Even some of the great worship songs, you'll hear worship leaders talk about this was birthed out of an intimate moment. The Keith Greens of the world talking about, hey, this was birthed out of my moment with the Lord. You see where I'm going with this? It's one thing now because we have these tools and accessibility, and then we're saying, okay, I was stuck on a bridge, or I was stuck on a part, and this helped me to work it out. I get that. It's like having another person or a group of people in the room. But you got to be careful, because then it turns into that slippery slope, right? Of, hey, I just had to write me a whole first verse, and I'm just going to sing it. And I think that's the dangers of it. I want to show you something. I didn't know who this guy was, but I saw a clip come on my Instagram, and I had to look him up. He's a podcaster, and The Diary of a CEO. I'm going to show you his face. You'll know who he is. And he has a lot of good people on. And the only reason I really know him now is he had this doctor on. I'm not getting into that. She blew me away. She's a believer. I listened to, it might have been 2 hours. I don't know, because it felt like 15 minutes to me. It was a phenomenal podcast. It was really helping me with my physical health. And then don't want to get, like I said, too much into it. Maybe we'll talk about it later. But she tells her story at the end about how this one person who was the district attorney of her state did not like her and did not want her to run for the state senate, wanted his best friend to run, and how he threw everything at her. It just was too real. It was too real. Long story short, another one of his reels comes up talking about AI. And the whole reason I had you look up ChatGPT, okay, is I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to watch this clip and tell me if you don't get a little nervous about it, okay?
The thing I don't think people realize is my experience with AI or ChatGPT is much different from yours. Even if we ask the same question, it will say something different.
Right.
I didn't realize this. Me and my friends were debating who was the best soccer player in the world, and I said Messi. My friend said Ronaldo. So we both went and asked our ChatGPTs the same question, and it said two different things.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this reminds me of the social media problem, which is that people think when they open up their news feed, they're getting mostly the same news as other people. And they don't realize that they've got a supercomputer that's just calculating the news for them. If you remember in the social element, there's the trailer.
Yeah.
And if you typed in into Google, climate change is, and then depending on what your location, it would say not real versus, a made up thing. It wasn't trying to optimize for truth. It was just optimizing for what the most popular queries were in those different locations. I think that that's a really important lesson when you look at things like AI companions, where children and regular people are getting different answers based on how they interact with it.
Now, just the whole reason I wanted to show that was I think we're all getting played. And that goes back to my fear and my little bit of a hesitation and reservation when we start using this AI stuff. It does start to program what you want to see, what you want to hear. It doesn't really show you the other side. It just shows you to reinforce your beliefs. I just think that's so, I don't know. It explains why people are so tribal. It explains why people are such echo chambers. Unless you intentionally like something that's counterintuitive to what you've been liking, it's only going to start to feed you the one thing. So I think, to me, we have to be aware of the algorithms and AIs that are literally just reinforcing our own solid beliefs. I don't know. That to me, this is an alarm. Like, you really have to look and be intentional about getting a well-balanced diet, if I could say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're using it for something important or to gain knowledge, I always assume AI is lying to me or not telling me the truth or something's off. And so I think we did it once. Even here, we talked about one of the props in California. And the one question I asked is, like, what did the Republicans say about it? What did the Democrats say about it? Mm-hmm. Because I think it is going to be biased, or you're trying to figure out what information are you giving me? What point of view is this coming from? So even if I put in something like a scripture in there, I was like, send me sources from John MacArthur. But I don't want it from you. I want it from him. Just give me the information. So I use that as research, not to tell me how to think, but help me find the information that I want. I wouldn't let the AI to teach me anything. I will look it for to help me find the things I want to learn about.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? What were you thinking?
Well, I think in general, people are lazy, and so your approach is, I think, a couple more steps than most people want to take. Mm-hmm. And so they're just going to be like, "Hey, give me this," rather than, and filter it this way, and then also, put a twist on it like this. They're just going to do that first step and just get what they have. Mm-hmm. I thought that what he was talking about with the news feed was interesting. I guess I hadn't really thought about it. I mean, it's one of those things I knew, but I probably hadn't really thought about it, just in regards to, like, how you said we're so tribal right now. I mean, if all you're getting is information that is, agreeing with how you believe and what what your stance is, whether it be religiously or politically or whatever it may be, you're just going to continue to be more bent in that direction, and you're going to feel like everybody else is feeling the same way. And it's like it just creates a larger divide between you and the other side. And so what is an AI companion?
I'm sorry.
He had said it, in the video. He had talked about an AI companion.
Yeah, it's just and its accessibility to AI at all times. It's a companion, so it's like a prompt, like you have it with you.
I think it was something this to help you. I mean, there are people who are like trying to marry AI people.
Because he said in regards to children and their AI companion.
Well, because they probably have it on one of their. So Microsoft Word has an AI companion now.
Oh, so it's like whatever you use in the chat, GTP or whatever.
And it's your companion. So it opens up on on different apps or different things you may use.
Yeah, but they have all your information. I mean, this is how Google makes their money. So they collect all this information about you, and then they tailor everything towards. So like when you go get like a YouTube ad, you choose who you want it to reach. I want them to live here, be this age, maybe have kids.
They call that geofencing.
So they have that information on you already, and so they can feed you that news. So it's easy for AR or any like. This isn't something new. This is something they've been doing. But now, if you go into this thing for that information, it's going to only keep reinforcing what you already believe if you don't ask the right questions.
And just to prove that point to you, I was joking with somebody the other day. They said, "You quoted Charlemagne the God." I said, "I know. I've reached all-time lows in my life." I'm about to quote Bill Maher again.
He's better than Charlemagne.
But
well, maybe.
He went on a talk show. And they brought up the thing about Islam. And we've been saying this, especially you. No more person has been saying this more than you. He brought up about Islam, and he said, listen, Christians aren't our problem. And he goes, I don't understand fundamentally how anybody on the left aligns themselves with the Islamic nation. He goes, the most tolerant people in this world are Christians. He goes, you could look at Christian countries, and they don't kill you for being gay. He goes on this whole rant. I mean, I could show it to you guys, but you already know he's been beating this drum, just so everybody knows. He goes, you need to understand this, and then he goes on to say, because of Christian people, there's more love, there's more grace. And I'm thinking, this is a secular, very much secular He made a whole movie about anti-religion. religiousness or whatever it was, and he made fun of Christians mercilessly in there. And yet he's the one saying, no, you need us. We coexist. That whole sticker, coexist. Yeah, Christians coexist. Like, you don't understand. And the guy, I think it was the guy from 60 Minutes, and he's just looking at him like, no, you're wrong. And Bill's like, are you an idiot? And you know I'm right. And so anyway, because Bill, he's just very aggressive like that. Once again, but if you only feed your algorithm, right, and you see this, and then it's what, once I clicked and saved that bookmark in X about that lady who said she called a Christian church and then she called the Muslim mosque and all this stuff, I get nothing but the Muslim feed. And Jesus was a liar. And Jesus never called himself a prophet. So I see all this stuff. And it's crazy how people on the left align themselves more with the Islamic faith, so to say, than they do Christians. And it's like, do you know what you're really lining up on? Do you really understand what's going on? I mean, I've taken you guys to the Middle East. Do you really think they're having marches? You know what I'm saying? But that algorithm's feeding only that good stuff, only what you want to hear, basically, to realign yourself. And so we got to be careful. And I say that on the right and on the left. You know what I'm saying. But also you got to be careful of reinforcing your own beliefs. And I don't know if we're going to do it next week or the week after, but there's a huge trend right now. Oprah came out and did a show because of the huge trend that's coming on right now. It's called parental estrangement. You got kids that are cutting their parents off at record numbers. And she brings on, which I didn't expect this from Oprah, but she brought on 3 very well-balanced therapists. 2 of them had been through this themselves. And they've written books about it and everything that's going on. And it's just a crazy topic to get into, but it's by the millions right now. It's an America epidemic that is literally tearing apart families. It is just crazy. So they were talking about the algorithms that feed. And they were saying for the kids, like, once you like that post, it's going to feed you nothing but that stuff and try to reinforce that belief. And this is killing us. We've got to be real careful with this AI. We got to be real careful with social media in general. And that's what one of the therapists says. You got to be real, real careful. Social media does not replace the human interaction. Not that, man, that is so true. Speaking of social media and interaction, let's talk about Deuteronomy. Are you still loving you some Deuteronomy right now?
I am. This morning I was like, man, I think I really want to study this book.
Okay,
I still like it.
But you got to admit, the last few days got a little interesting.
Well, yeah, I thought it was really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Okay. Talking about men, you can't come in the house of God if you ain't all man. Okay, we'll leave it there. So I just because I'm on some threads with people doing devotionals, like going, what did I just read? And I'm like, well, what you read is what you read. I can't neither add.
Did I really? Yes, you did.
You read it.
Yeah.
So okay, so tell me what's been about you in Deuteronomy?
There was one. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Me and my wife end up. Man, I not wrote it down. We end up talking about it. Oh, chapter. Nope, it's not 21. Anyways, it talks about if you go and you take a city, and you see a beautiful woman, and you can take her home, but you have to shave her head. She has to get rid of her nails, and you have to wait 30 days. And then once you marry her, then after that, if you want to marry her, if you marry her but you're displeased with her, you can get rid of her. And so that's the part me and my wife talked about. And she, man, I don't know if I should say all this. But anyways, the nobody's nothing bad, but
you done did it now.
Was
it about the haircut? Was it?
No. But she was like, man, if he doesn't please you, just get rid of him. It was like, basically, like, if you didn't enjoy your time with her, like, oh, you're out. And I was like, I don't think that's what it's saying.
It said that in 24 also.
No, that's what it was saying. Unless you got different. Okay, go ahead, Bishop. Go ahead. This is why he's the bishop. This is why you the token and he's the bishop. Go ahead, Bishop.
So the culture in that time, what happened is God was actually protecting women there. They would take them. They was literally just take advantage of them.
Yeah.
When they would take it, but it's like, no, you could bring her back home and you strip away all the beauty. Oh, no, she doesn't have the beautiful hair. Because the woman, they were saying a lot of times then, the woman knew this was going to happen. So let me make myself look good. So hopefully they'll take me home. Because I got nothing else left. My husband's gone. I got no way to defend myself. They're going to just kill me. But it was like, no, you take her back home. Now strip all that beauty away. You still like her? Oh, I'll give you 30 days. She don't look good no more. She got a bald-headed woman. Like, you still want to be with her now? It's like, no, you take her to be your wife, and then if you don't like her, then you can like, hey, no, you don't sell her into slavery, you don't treat her bad, she gets to go free. And this is completely different from the rest of the culture. And it wasn't just simply just like you're taking advantage of her, but it still could seem cruel because you're like, man, it's just like property. But it's like compared to the rest of what the world was doing, God's like, no, I protect and value women more than any of these other nations do. It's a lot different. So, yeah.
I think he might have sold me on that now. I looked at it a little different, but I think he sold me on
no,
it.
it is. So it is. And so people talk about this. You go back and counsel people because they said something in the past, like even in our culture today. It was like, well, that was sort of like how people talked back then. And like, they'll say certain things. And it's like,
you mean?
I'm saying now in
You mean
today's
like our
today's
grandparents'
society.
generation, how they?
Oh no!
how
Or
they
people go
talk
back
to-
and like what kids said in high school.
Yeah.
They'll go back and it's like, well, they talk, or like older people. They'll say,
Grandparents, yeah.
they'll talk that way.
like a lot of my grandfather's friends call me boy. I didn't never take it. They just come here, boy, and I didn't take it. No.
But now they want to go back, and so it's like that.
Right.
Saying, we look back in during this time, and we're seeing through our lens, it was like,
Yep.
oh man, this is so evil. And God's like, no, I actually protected them and love them. Like, you can't go and just take advantage of this woman.
Well, you're
and
not
treat her that
wrong.
way and make her a
Culturally,
slave.
yeah, but culturally speaking, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
There
I'm not
was-
saying it's great for the women, but I mean, you're gonna take it from all your family.
but great is subjective, is what you're saying. Great is subjective because what was the other option?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no. So no, I get what you're saying. I mean, comparatively speaking to today's times, that's a little harsh. But if we were to transport ourselves back to that Eastern culture, back to that time, that was actually doing a solid.
yeah.
You're right.
And you couldn't sell her into slavery. Like, you'd have to let her
You're
go,
right.
and then just
No, you're right on. I get that too. What'd your wife say though?
She agreed with me.
Oh, she
What she said, I mean, she knew that too. She already
Okay.
had, she
Okay.
already understood, like, no, this was God.
It does read kind of harsh though, for honest. It reads kind of harsh.
No, it truly does. And that's why I want to know more about this.
Right.
It's like about the culture and what was God doing? Like, what are you actually saying here? And because even we talked about before, go and kill everyone there. But you see, after that, he constantly says, like, otherwise you're going to follow their gods. And I don't want you to follow these evil people. So it's like the things are still super harsh, but we can get more of the heart of God. Because our first question is, what does it say about God?
Yep.
And so I think at times it's hard to answer those questions because we don't know the culture of like what's really going on. God, you seem kind of like evil. It's still in this, but she don't fully understand what's going on.
That was, if I can just rewind just a second. You said our first question. So just so everybody knows on our podcast, once again, this is a great reason for you to like and subscribe and to share this with a friend right now. This clip, what I'm about to tell you. One of the ways that we approach the Bible, and we used to do this, was the SOAP method, scripture, observation, application, prayer. And I love the SOAP method. I did it probably for 10 plus years. But when I was at a pastor's retreat and I ran into a former missionary and he said, hey, the way that we're raising up pastors in India and all these other countries is we have them do 4 questions when they read the Bible. And so here are the 4 questions that are literally transforming the world and transforming our church and our lives. The first question is, what does this passage of text say about God? This is providing you with a good theological framework to make sure that you have the right approach when you talk about God, that you have the right perception, that you're not bringing your Western philosophy into an Eastern religion. And so you really have to check yourself, which you just did a great example of doing so. The second question we ask is, what does this say about man? We're not talking about you. We're talking about man in general. And really, you did an excellent job of that, explaining culture and what men were doing to women at that time in other cultures, right? And then it says, how do I apply this to my life? It was absolutely amazing explanation of God is saying, I'm different, you're different, and we're going to show them how different we are. Because as men, this is how I want you to apply it to your life. You're not going to be like the other men in other cultures. You're going to like her for her. You're not going to disregard her. You're going to just appreciate what I've created in this woman. Your takeaway is listening. God has called me to be different because you are different. And now as believers, we have the person, the power, the presence, and the promise of the Holy Spirit inside of our lives. Yeah, you should be different, period. I love that. And so last question is, who can I share this with? You just shared it with everybody. I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but we should clip it for you, and so everybody can see the heart of God. And so what? We are sharing it with anybody we can who needs to understand that our God has always been loving, always been merciful, and always been kind. This is not a new attribute he just put on when Jesus stepped on the scene. It's who he has always been. He is never changing. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrews, 13:5. So I just want to encourage, or 13:8. I just want to encourage all of you with that. That's the 4 questions we read our Bible with. Thank you so much. Yeah. You answered all 4 of those questions, and you made believers out of all of us. That's why we call him the Bishop. Okay, Token, give us what you got.
All right, you, Whitey, what do you got?
That was funny, though. That was funny.
amongst other things, I thought I liked how we've been seeing in Deuteronomy, like how you've been mentioning, like the love of God portrayed through just these different commands and the different people. I mean, even like there was one, I think in 21 where it talked about how if somebody is found in a field dead, there's somebody has to have somebody needs to take responsibility of this. And I think one of the takeaways that I had gotten from that was like this life mattered, and we can't get so calloused that this guy just died. Oh well, we'll move on. Eye for an eye in the sense of like what they had to do is they had to kill a heifer, right? So they're not. I don't think God is saying that this man's life was equivalent to a cow.
Right.
That's what I meant by eye for an eye. But I think what my personal opinion is like God didn't want it just to be like we'll just move on.
Absolutely correct.
And we need to. There needs to, or else, what's going to end up happening to us? We're going to find ourselves in a position where we're sacrificing kids like everybody else, where lives don't matter anymore. And so, just like the small things, it's like Deshaun said in regards to like studying it more. I think that would be interesting because, as parents, you will find out that your friend maybe disciplined their kid a certain way, and you're like, oh, dang, man, that's kind of messed up. But you don't understand the whole story behind it.
So true.
And so then once you find once you know the heart behind the parent, then you really search for that meaning of like, hey, what really happened in the story behind your son getting in trouble, and so as far as like learning the heart of God and trying to figure out why did he have these different things in place, because we really don't understand. I mean, even with the amount of studying that we could do, just us being in the West compared to being in the East, like it's just not ingrained in us. Like this is being in the Eastern culture, it's who you are. So we can read about it and we can learn about it, but it's not necessarily who we are. And so anyway, as far as Deuteronomy, there are definitely times where I've been reading and been like, what in the world is happening? All right. Okay. I don't understand that. But I think there's so much more to it. It's kind of it's been pretty cool to read through.
I think this might help some people. So let me give it to you the best way that my mentors have given it to me. In order to be a nation, a group of people recognized by other nations, you have to have a people, okay? You have to have a land, and you have to have some semblance of law. So in order to be a nation, God said, I have a people. I'm going to give them a promised land. And now what we see is the layout of the law. And what's interesting is you had ceremonial laws, right? And now you have covenantal laws. But now God, in his infinite wisdom, is saying, I've got to give you communal laws. Because if you're non-Jew, covenantal law don't matter. You know, that you use 1 pint to wash your hands, that you bathe. That's covenantal, right? If you're ceremonial laws, this is how I want my sacrifice given to me. Well, if you're not a Jew, that don't matter. But he goes, even if you're a foreigner in another land, I've got to have, at base minimum, communal laws that everybody's going to abide by, whether you're a Jew or non-Jew. You're going to have to abide by these communal laws. And the problem today, guys, is we have arbitrarily gotten rid of what we call societal norms and societal laws. And now we have done away with, we've abdicated, we've turned a blind eye, we don't administer justice like we should. It was crazy is one of the people, when I took them to Israel, they had asked me, they said, hey, people just have open air markets over here and nobody steals. And I said, well, I don't think that it's nobody steals. I'm sure there's some thievery that still happens, but you pay a high price when you get caught. And they looked at me and they said, well, what type of price? I don't know, a good old-fashioned beating. That's what you get. And your whole family is humiliated as you're put on display. And that makes you think twice before you steal.
How many people do you think slept around when Israel was being established?
Not very many, obviously. There was no going and no you know what, or you know what I mean? It was because he even said
premarital. Was a little different back then.
Well, they said if the guy accuses her of not being a virgin, she got to prove that she was.
The parents had to prove.
Everybody.
If it's true, but hey, if you're wrong, She's getting stoned, but
and
if
y'all in trouble.
yeah, I was like,
Dang. Yeah, but it was like, no, you need to prove she is. I'm thinking like, you got your Thea involved, you got your Theo involved, like you got your grandparents. Like, this is a whole affair.
that ain't letting hair go nowhere.
Lock
Your life is on the line.
You're
girl, you might get killed.
your dad looking at you a whole different way. I'm like, no, you ain't. No, you ain't. Other girls, I don't care what other girls do. You ain't. That's what's going on. But you got to have this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I segue this just to bring up something. My heart goes out to the 209. I don't know if you guys are familiar what would happen in Stockton over the last couple of days. Funny, a number was just called me from the 209. But there was a party. From what I understand, there was a children's party that went wrong. It got shot up. 4 people died. 3 of them were children under the age of 12. I think one was like 20 or something like that. 14 people were shot, and it's all over the news. It's extremely sad. And well, let me just show you. I'll show you some of the clip. It is blurred out. Let me just get it up right here for you. It's blurred out, but here's a little bit of the crime scene. Take a look at this.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Supposedly 12 people got hit. I guess it was in them houses right here around the corner.
You're good to stand there, man. Just don't come past.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody okay?
Yeah, I have 2 additional here for her sleepers that we're going to transport. No. That'll be the end of the victims over here.
So Gavin Newsom tweets on this. I mean, it's made Fox headlines, CNN. It's been everywhere. I walked into the gym. It was on every major news outlet. It wasn't 19. This was right when it happened. I think it went down to 14. The ages are correct. As young as 9 and 12 is old. The 23-year-old is the oldest one. So Gavin Newsom post on this, and you know, I haven't been the biggest fan. You know, you guys know that about me. But some of the things they said pertaining to him were absolutely correct. They said, this is what happens when you're soft on crime. This is what happens when you're not hard on gun criminals. When you don't take these felonies serious. This is what happens. Remember, they did that whole thing where they're letting people go if you stole under this amount. And, you know, I mean, we all were victims of that in 21 and 22, where if it wasn't over $1,000, the police don't even come out. And I thought to myself, because I'm reading Deuteronomy, this is why you have societal laws. This is why you have rules of community. This is why you can't go easy on it. This is why you need to establish some boundaries. Say, listen, if you do this, we're going to do that. If you get caught stealing, do you see where I'm going with this? And I'm not trying to harp on Gavin. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I am trying to say there's some truth to what people are saying. When you go soft on crime, only the innocent people suffer. When you go soft on crime, only the people who are obeying the laws see the end of it. I mean, this is the same guy that locked down churches and locked out churches and took you to court if you opened your church, but you're going to let criminals go. This is how backwards it is. And I think we have to get back to being tough on crime. I don't know. That's what Deuteronomy's teaching me. There's a reason for this. I mean, we were joking about the dad and the daughter and all that, but I'm saying there's a reason for this. God knew what he was doing. He knows. Listen, I don't say these things to make myself look good or to make myself look bad. I say this because they're honest. I told people this weekend, I don't do these things because I'm good. Innately, who I am as a person, I'm unregenerative. If it wasn't for the power of the Holy Spirit, at the base core of who I am a fallible human being. I'm a man. But because of the Holy Spirit, I can live different. Because of being baptized in the Holy Spirit and being born again, I can live different. God expects me to live different. But if I didn't have the Holy Spirit, I'd be just like these other knuckleheads. That's it. And that's why you got to have laws. Because men are inherently evil. We're wicked. Who can know? What is the prophet Ezekiel says? Who can know and judge the heart but God? It is desperately wicked.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have laws, or this type of stuff happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is what you see in Deuteronomy. I mean, you see some harsh punishments. I mean, people getting flogged and people put an example, no, hang them from a tree. Like it's pretty brutal. But again, what he's trying to do is separate them from the rest of the culture. Yeah, all these other cultures are evil, and this is what all they know. And God's saying, like, no, we're not going to be these evil people. Like, I know what your heart is, and so we're going to correct this. Like, we're going to protect. I'm going to protect you from your own hearts. And so it's really when you have tough laws where you can't commit these crimes and where there is a harsh punishment, crime is going to drop because people aren't going to pay those prices. Right. But when you're soft on crime and you want to see people, again, you want to be loving, you want to give second chances. Again, this is that idea of the Christian faith. Like, we care for people, we want to see people restored. At the same time, we have to protect people. And so there has to be this justice. There has to be these punishments that take place in our society.
What about you, Mike? What do you think?
I actually had just seen this video the other day. This guy he was in Oakland, and he was going around. He's just interviewing residents in Oakland. He's talking about how bad Oakland has gotten. And one of the people in the video literally was talking about how the Oakland's current state is and how bad it is a byproduct of just these progressive ideals. And all the people who are making all these different laws, they don't have to live in it. They're not living in the areas that are really affected by it. And so I see that and I hear that. But then also, like Deshaun was saying, I have a heart for those who want to and need a second chance, third chance, fourth chance. And so I think it is a balance of how do you do that? How do you give people another opportunity? But at the same time, how do you keep people safe? And if you've got to weigh one out over the other, then you have to go with keeping people safe.
What was the motive behind it? What was the motive behind having loose laws or laxed laws? Sometimes I try to ask myself the opposite question. How did we get here? Why did we start to not prosecute those who stole? Why did we choose $1,000? What do you guys think? Because to me, if you incentivize people to steal, they're going to steal all the more. And if they know there's a cap, they're just going to go up to that cap, come back the next day and do it again. What was the motive behind that?
Well, I think part of it is when you keep giving people like this record, it's hard for them to overcome that in life. And so their idea is, hey, let's not give them these hard records. Let's make sure it's not a felony or even misdemeanors. And so they can walk away clean. They still have a chance in life, especially for kids or, young adults. They want to see them be able to still live a life without a record. So it's like, let's keep giving you chances, but they'll just keep walking over you. I mean, like any kid will. You keep giving them chances. If you don't follow through what you said to a kid, they're like, oh, I can do that. And what you say is not really a threat. And people will keep taking advantage of it over and over again. People will take advantage of your kindness. But the problem is, as Christians, we do have to guard our heart. We can't let that harden our heart and not to be kind. But there also still has to be consequences, but also be loving and kind. Just like we talk about, tell the truth, but do it with love. And that's the balance as believers that we're trying to find. But as lawmakers, a lot of times they can't find that balance.
What about you? What do you say?
I think some of these progressive laws are birthed out of feeling bad for people who grew up in impoverished areas.
White guilt.
It is. Hey, it's my family's fault.
You're just gonna take it on the chin, huh? Take it on the chin.
That's what they do. They say, hey, Deshaun's black. He never had a chance.
Right.
But they'll say like very blanket things like that. And so a lot of the crime that is done in certain areas, like the certain types of crimes that are done in certain areas, those are the types of crimes that they'll target.
Yeah, and just if I can, because I think one of the things that separates us from a lot of other podcasts is we do try to keep it balanced. And I will say this: there have been systemic things that have targeted black and brown communities. The whole things, whether it was the 80s drug war, all this stuff, 3-strike rules, it disproportionately. I try to tell people the stats are the stats too. even though sometimes we can bend them a little bit, but they do tell and paint a picture and a story. Now, I will say this. To me, I get what you guys are saying, like especially what you were saying as far as the white guilt and they felt bad and this was disproportionate. I hear all that. I understand all that. But from what I understood, the law was supposed to be blind, or justice was supposed to be blind. We needed the facts. We needed the figures. And I think by compromising and becoming laxed, we've literally have perpetrated, or we literally have advanced, and we literally made criminals smarter. Well, I could do this and not get busted. We should have just allowed the law to be the law. And if we really wanted to go in and change urban areas, and if we really wanted to go in and change systemic things, then we start when the kids are younger, put more money into the schools. I shouldn't even say that because some of our schools are horrible in the inner city.
Oh, they have a lot of money.
I was gonna say money ain't the problem.
Also, you're talking about the lottery.
Yeah,
and I was talking about that. I was like, man, did you know what lottery was supposed to go to? Like, I didn't know that. I was shocked by it.
Oh, were you?
You mentioned it.
I know. Is that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
okay. If we're really gonna be honest, and we're having a moment of honesty, it needs to be on the families. We need to go back to the nuclear family. We need to put dads back in the home. Stop devaluing the men. Stop devaluing the dads. Dads matter. Period.
Yep.
Dads matter. And we need to start there. Why didn't the dad stick around? What happened? He needed a job. Let's help him get a job. So there are things we do need to do because it does disproportionately affect people of black and brown communities. I agree. I'm not arguing that. So, but we also can't bend the law though, because it only empowers the perpetrators to, perpetrate still, to do the acts of crime. So we got to be real cautious about that. Okay, let's talk about the word. So this week, but by the way, you can learn a lot from Deuteronomy. We're learning a lot. And so even if it seems strange, we're learning a lot. Let's talk about the word. I talked yesterday about what can we learn from the story of Lazarus. I talked about dead coming back to life, being powered by the Holy Spirit, right? And Jesus wanted us to live free. Was there anything in the sermon that stood out for you as we talk about the sermon this last week? We do a little recap.
Yeah, the really thing that really hit me, you talked about the old shows where you have the demon on one side and the angel on the one side. And it just reminded me, and I was thinking about it, it's interesting you just think about, church and the importance to go to the church. It's not something like I didn't know. Like I know this already. But in that moment it just hit me. It just had a big impact. But it's weird because it's not new information. But it was like, no, this is what God wanted me to hear, and it's important for me right now just to know that there's an enemy that's against me, that wants to destroy me, wants to destroy my marriage, wants my marriage to break up so it affects my kids and hurts my kids and hurts my church. Like there's all these things that will explode from my marriage not doing well, and realize there's an enemy that wants it to happen, and to be mindful of that and realize that literally there's someone against me, and obviously God's for me, He loves me, He cares for me. But to know there's someone on the other side that hey, I want to disrupt everything that you got and hurt everyone else around you. Just be mindful of that, because I feel like it changes for me at least changes my attitude to know to be more intentional and more on the offense of I got to actively seek to do well and not just hope I do okay. But no, someone wants to take the ball from me, and just to realize that. So
that was good. What about you, Mike?
You talked about the importance of taking the high road, and as believers, we're supposed to live differently, and we're able to do that when we feed the Spirit. So they talked about the angel on one side and the God on the other side, or the angel on the other side, or the devil on one side, angel, and whatever lion you feed, will eat the other. And but I also had this thought as I was thinking about it this morning. But then you can feed the Spirit all you want, but there's usually a point where whatever situation you're in, you have to choose to surrender.
Okay.
But that choice is made easier when you're filled with the Spirit.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so I had an interaction with somebody recently, and man, they set the bait. Man, the bait was there. That hook was there. I bit the hook, but I didn't allow it to set. Okay. But there was this moment in our conversation where I could feel it. Okay, what am I gonna do now? And it was a very quick. Am I gonna surrender and kind of take the high road, or am I going to double down? And if you know me, I like to double down.
Oh, yeah, sometimes you got to double down.
And I was like, no, because our relationship usually in the past, our relationship would me doubling down, and there's this big explosion. And so anyway, I took the high road, and I still can't believe I did it. Usually I would almost be like, man, I wish I didn't do it. But there's this point of tension where it's like, in the moment, what am I going to do? Am I going to surrender to the flesh, or am I going to surrender to the Spirit? And I have noticed that when I am filled with the Spirit, like I'm actually like involved in my faith. I'm reading my word. I'm praying. I'm filling myself with things of the Lord. Like, it's easier to bend to the Spirit. But when I'm not, I double down.
Ooh, that's so good, both of you, man. That flesh is strong. Can we just admit that? And I feel like the devil be fighting on Sunday mornings exclusively, just trying to get everybody all worked up. That's why I'm a firm believer in take 2 cards. Split the kids up, take 2 cards. You got to play some zone defense, play some zone D, play some man-on-man. Do what you need to do, but take 2 cards. One of the things that I just want to encourage people, one of the things that blessed me from my own sermon, if I could say it that way, in a non-arrogant way, although it sounds arrogant, is I really want to encourage people, you got to leave this city. I put the 2 cities down. You got to leave the city if only. If only Jesus would have done this. If only Jesus would have done that. You got to leave that city. But then you can't go camp out in the city right next to it, the city of where were you? I think those are I think those are 2 very dangerous statements as believers. 2 very dangerous statements as believers. You got to be real careful of those statements. One of the things that you will have to learn how to deal with is disappointment in the kingdom. You will have to learn how to deal with disappointment, because life is going to give you plenty to be disappointed about. Let me just give you a little reference. David says, why am I living in a mansion? And if you guys went with me to Israel, we knew he had a couple mansions. He was living good. He was the king, right? And he says to himself, I need to build a house for the Lord. Why am I living in a mansion and my God is in a tent? Remember this? And he tells Nathan, I'm going to build a house for the Lord. David's got the money. David's got the people. David's got the land. And David is David. Ain't nobody stepping to him. He fit to do it. Nathan signs off. David, do what's all that's in your heart. Ooh, David's a man of action. My brother got to work. Nathan goes back, and the Lord corrects Nathan. Says, hey, you out of pocket. You spoke wrong. And he says, you better go tell David. If I'm Nathan, I'm like, you need to tell David. Be talking to you too. You need to tell David. And Nathan even says, it's going to get me killed. And the Lord's like, you said yes? You going to go tell him no. And Nathan, in all humility, he's scared. David just took out Uriah over less, you know what I mean? Over Bathsheba. He going to kill you too. That's what Nathan's thinking. So what happens? Nathan goes back and tells David. And how did David deal with that disappointment? If you go back and you look at the life of David, how did he deal with all his disappointments? The loss of his son, being ostracized from his family, the loss of his first wife, Michal, when she rebuked him for dancing before the Lord in his little gown. Now the loss of building a temple. David may have loved women, and David loved him some women that's going to probably get me into some trouble. David was a lover of women. He loved women. But I'm going to tell you something he loved more. God. He loved God more. He may have had his weak moments with women, but he has triumphant moments with God. And he loved God more. And if I was Nathan, there was a good reason to be afraid. But how did David deal with that disappointment? He goes, whatever the Lord wants. And we know what he did. He didn't take his ball and go home, Bishop. He didn't take his money and go home, Token. He didn't do it. Let me tell you what he did. Nathan came back and he said, Solomon's going to build that temple. Your son will build that temple. David got it all ready. David didn't make it hard on his kid. David wrote letters and said, hey, when the time comes, you come build this. You give me the finest wood from Lebanon. You give me the finest cedars. You give me this. He said, take the money out of my treasury. He set it up. We have a saying when we work on cars, a plug and play. That's the best stuff you want is a plug and play. David gave Solomon a plug and play. That's it. He dealt with that disappointment better than anybody done. And we as believers need to learn how to deal with that disappointment. Okay, God, whatever you want. Now, I love what I'm asking for, but I love you more. I love you more than my hurt, more than my grief, more than my fear, more than my anxiety. I love you more than life itself. And if I love you more than life itself, and this is not what you have for me, then I don't want it. You're going to have to learn to deal with it. Stop camping out. And if only, stop camping out. Where were you? Stop camping out. Move over to the city where God wants you to be, and where he has faith and love abound and grace abounds. You got to get out of that city. So that's what I want to camp out on again. And okay, so I want to wrap this up. We just came off Thanksgiving, and it's important to be thankful. Amen. Take your gratitude walks. I told people that this weekend. I prescribe you a gratitude walk. I don't know what to be thankful for while you're breathing. You could not be breathing. This is good gratitude. You got some shoes on. May not be your favorite shoes, but you got shoes. Shoot, if you got a jacket, you should be thankful. I mean, it's cold, right? Okay. I want to shout out Ruslan. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Ruslan is a very popular podcaster. He's actually helped a lot of people get their start in podcasting. And he recently, I guess he does something on Fridays where he reviews music. You know, he's a producer. He's a rap artist. He's an artist. And he does a show on Friday where he will sample new music and give a critique about it. Shout out to our very own Adventure Worship.
Okay.
He goes ahead and he does a critique of the Adventure Worship. We will in the studio, we will watch it in its entirety, but we're going to clip it for you guys just where he gives a little commentary, a little feedback. And then I'm going to show some gratitude, and not attitude, but some gratitude to Ruslan for giving us a shout out. Watch this.
Okay. Someone else skipped. Okay, let's jump into this. This is All I Praise Adventure Worship. Shout out to Adventure Worship. Let's check you guys out. Adventure Worship. All right, you're not following me. You're lost because you could have got a follow back, but that's all right. Let's check you guys out. Yeah. Is this an original song? Is this an original bop? Okay, I really like this. I think the writing is really well. It feels like a song I've heard before, which I think is dope. I think what I would love to hear on this is a female voice to juxtapose and contrast the male voice. I think the dude singing this has a great voice. It's not too polished. It's not too pop. But I think it needs something to juxtapose this to create a bit of contrast. Maybe there is. And this is a very long song. I know worship songs are long. Yeah, I like the higher range. This is dope. That's dope. That bridge is fire. Yeah, I like where the vocal went up. Like that's really fire. I think with a song like this, and this is my humble opinion, I think there's a way to make a single version of this and then make an album version of this. And this is just my opinion. I think you could have this longer version and then have a shorter version that maybe you're working at Christian radio. You're trying to work as a single. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I really like this. I think you guys are doing a great job. And yeah, it sounds awesome. I'm subscribed to you guys here. Which one is this? Okay, that's dope. You guys did this collaboration with Music Meets Heaven YouTube page, so it sounds like they do like a bunch of worship stuff. That's smart. That's smart on your guys' part. Very well done. All right, great job on that.
All right, hey, what'd you think?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I'm happy for all the guys that put a lot of work into doing it. The people recognizing it and like it. So it's cool.
No shout out. What about you, Mike? What'd you think?
Well, yeah, I was thinking about it. It's like, oftentimes people make it just by somebody liking them. You know, you just have to have one person who believes in you, one person who likes you. I'm not saying Ruslan's the man. Appreciate his saying that. But I was just thinking, like, you never know who's going to listen to your stuff and come across your stuff. But super cool for everybody who worked hard on it.
Yeah, I just want to take a minute and just shout out Ruslan. Thank you so much. We are completely grateful for even taking the time. And we agree. We agree with everything you said. We are currently working on what we would call radio version. Your critique was spot on, and like you said, in your humble opinion, but your humble opinion was right. Also, we do agree with the layering of vocal to juxtapose the strong male vocal. That was an honest and beautiful critique as well. So thank you so much. We're just grateful. I couldn't agree more with Mike. Sometimes it's about getting on other people's platforms. I'm humbled that you would even put us on your platform, knowing who you are and what you do and the following you have. We're grateful. We're grateful for anybody. We just write music here that we want people to be blessed by. However, we want the Lord to be blessed the most. So we write music unto him that he would be glorified and he would be worshiped, that he'd be honored. And to quote everybody, what they were saying while we were watching your clip was, it sounds so much better in person, which we all agree. There's something about singing that worship song, whether it's on Easter or times of communion or just on a regular Sunday, it hits different in the house when we're singing it to him. So we will say that. So maybe Ruslan, come check out a church service and you'll see how well it hits when we're all singing it together. Something about the choir known as the church congregation joining in as we sing all praise. But once again, thank you so much. And we'll try to look up your address. And we actually have a shirt that has some of the lyrics on it called All Praise. We'd love to send you one. Not that you have to rep it, but just our way of saying thank you for highlighting that song and giving us the honest feedback. We greatly appreciate it. We are thankful for you, my friend. This has been an awesome